Hey guys, John Rettinger from TechnoBuffalo here with an unboxing almost 13 years in the making. There's been a lot of talk about an Apple tablet that's been coming. I thought before we can see what a product might do, it's important to get a perspective on the history of a product and really what they've done in the past. So I've got an unboxing for you today of the last Apple Newton MessagePad, the 2100, released just about 13 years ago. It's still a very exciting device and does a lot of things that eventually found their way into the iPhone and even Mac OS X as a whole. A few very cool things, and I think it's a device that will give us an interesting perspective on where Apple may take this alleged iSlate that's coming later on in the month. Let's go ahead and get to the unboxing. This is of course not Apple packaging. This is just sent as is. No idea what this looks like or no idea what's in here. The Newton is a very cool device. It was really one of the first and the biggest messaging pads out there. Came out around, if you do the math, around the 97-ish time, really right when the Palm Pilot was starting to become more mainstream. Newton's a much larger device, but definitely did a lot more than the initial Palm offerings, and certainly was years before, or about a year or so before, Windows CE was even thought of or announced. So let's go ahead and get to the unboxing. Enough of me babbling. This is what you guys want to see, and definitely what I want to see. I'm really curious about the Newton. I think it's going to give a nice perspective and a little bit of a history lesson on Apple products as a whole, since this is probably one of the most talked about Apple products, good or bad, in their company's history. So I've always heard a lot of great things about the UI on the Newton, but you always hear the Newton associated with a product failure, so I'm not really sure what to expect with this. Put the knife aside. Let's go ahead and dig in and see what we have. And this is just, packaging. Certainly not the way it initially came. So just a little bit of styrofoam. And there is the Newton MessagePad 2100. This is the last of the MessagePad line. So this is the most recent one, I would say, that was out there. And it is big, and I'll do some size comparisons for you. There's a battery door on the side. Of course, our power adapter. And that's about it. So let's push this box off to the side. Get rid of all the foam. And let's take a look at the Newton. And certainly in upcoming videos, I'll be walking you through the software, the hardware, showing you what it does, and why in a lot of ways this is still a relatively modern device as far as technology. And certainly it's going to be a good comparison with even a device like the iPhone for what this can do, almost 13 years ago that the iPhone still maybe cannot do. So here is the MessagePad. It's a pretty nice weight and size. For a comparison, here is the iPhone 3GS. You can definitely see that this is a big honking device, which is relatively thick. You've got a screen right here, which is opened up, I believe, just by pushing that. And we'll do a full hardware overview as well of this, but let me go over some of the specs. This thing has a strong-arm 110 processor, which I believe is about 162 megahertz. So it's certainly not the most powerful processor. It's got 8 megabytes of ROM, 4 internal, and actually 4 that are in one of these PC slots. There are 2 of them here, and these could do a sort of a ton of cool things when it first came out. But let's see what we got going on here. So I'll push out one of these. 4 megabytes. Yep, PCMCIA. It's amazing that this big, huge card is 4 megabytes. Back 12 or 13 years ago, you look now at micro SD and even SD cards, and you just get 16, 32 gigabytes on one of these. And this was 4 megabytes. Probably came in 4, 8, or maybe even 16, and that was huge. This would barely even hold 2 songs. So just kind of a nice perspective on how far we've come in technology. And I believe that this actually shipped with the Apple Newton, the Edge 4 megabyte flash card. I remember having 4 megabytes, thinking that was a lot of room. So if you guys are a little bit older, you'll remember that as well. I think we've got a dummy slot as well with just a filler one in there. But we'll go over all this at a later time. And there were things that you could put in there too that made this a little more advanced. You could fax with it. There's even a modem that you could send and even do some possible emailing with. Certainly no internet though at the time. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other specs that this has. One of the interesting things is the screen size and the screen resolution. It's the resolution of 480 by 320, which, if that sounds familiar for you, it's exactly the same resolution as the iPhone. Certainly this only shows just a few shades of gray. The iPhone definitely shows many colors, but resolution-wise, it's exactly the same. And something that you probably haven't seen from Apple, we've got a stylus. This is definitely not the stylus that first came with the Newton. Since from Nabisco, it probably came free or bundled with something. But this is what the shipper included it with. So that means we are dealing with a resistive touchscreen, but it does feel very hard and glass-like. It's not relatively squishy. Certainly a stylus is probably not something that you would expect from an Apple product. One cool thing about this, though, that I have seen in other videos and other write-ups, it's got a little bit of a stylus silo right on top. So you can just drop your stylus in, do your writing, and keep on going. The MessagePad just does a ton of really cool things. I'm looking forward to showing it to you. It's always kind of fun and nostalgic to see the old Apple logo too, the color guy when it was Apple Computers. You also notice this says Newton Technology. Apple actually spun off the Newton technology from Apple and made their own company, and that's why it's branded as such on the device. So just a real quick walkthrough, and then we'll save all the rest of it for future videos. You've got some rubber feet here. You've got some like little connectors that would have been possibly used for some sort of dock adapter. Feet that make it stand up. There was another little bit of a nub for whatever might have been a potential dock. On the top, you've got your IR port, serial port to get to your computer. Haven't seen a serial port in many, many years. Your power, and what would have been your stylus silo, but certainly this is not the proper stylus, as you can see. I assume it would have sort of snapped in and clicked. We've got a big speaker on the front, your Newton MessagePad 2100, and what I would assume is probably a microphone, although I'll do some checking on that to let you guys know. Battery pack, looks like the door is falling out, so if you want to get that out, you probably have to do some little bit of shaking, but we'll plug it in and try the power that way. And your power and hold switch on the left-hand side. Anyway, guys, this is the sort of first look at the Newton MessagePad. We can see where the tablet, this alleged iSlate, is going to be going as we take a further look at the Newton device. Hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely stay tuned to TechnoBuffalo for a lot more information and details on the device. I'm John Rettinger, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.